Before you even open your eyes, the smell hits you. Smoke, wet river mud, and warm, fresh bread, all at once. You're standing on the bank of the Nile. The year is 1250 BC. Ramesses the Great sits on the throne, and 3,000 years of Egypt already lie behind you. For the next 24 hours, you're not going to watch this world from behind glass. You're going to live it, hour by hour. And by nightfall, you'll come face to face with the one thing every Egyptian spent their entire life preparing for. It's not gold, it's not the pyramids. So take a breath and They don't even call this place Egypt. They call it Kemet, the Black Land, named for the dark, rich mud the river drags in every single year when it floods. Out here, the Nile isn't a river, it's everything. A thin green ribbon of life cutting through an endless ocean of dead sand. Lose the river and you lose the world. So stay with me until nightfall, because that's the moment all of this finally makes sense. First light and the village is already awake. A farmer steps onto his field barefoot, in a simple linen kilt, his skin burned brown by a lifetime of sun. He doesn't own this land. Almost no one does. It belongs to the temple, or to Pharaoh himself, and he works it for a cut of the grain. Watch what he plants: wheat and barley. Because these aren't just food, they are the Egyptian economy. There are no coins here, none. People are paid in grain, in bread, in beer. A worker's wage is, quite literally, loaves and jars. To haul water up to the higher fields, he leans on a shadoof, a counterweighted lever invented right here on this river. One man, thousands of liters a day, but he is always being watched. A scribe will measure his field and tax his grain before the harvest is even in. Because in Egypt, the man with the reed pen holds far more power than the man with the hoe. Keep that in mind. You'll meet him soon. By mid-morning, you're deep inside the town. And forget the pyramids. Real people live in tight mud brick houses, walls painted white against the heat, doorways blazing red and blue. Egyptians love color. Hold on to that, because it's about to change how you see everything. With no money, the whole market runs on barter. A pair of sandals costs so many measures of grain, and people haggle right out in the open, loud, sharp, and funny about it. And that smell? Bread and beer, the twin pillars of every Egyptian day. The beer is thick, slightly sour, barely alcoholic. Food you can drink. Even the children drink it. And that dark line under everyone's eyes, on the men, the women, even the kids, that isn't just fashion. It's coal, and it actually cuts the glare of the sun and keeps infection away from the eyes. Function first. Beauty second. Now follow the workers in clean white linen walking toward the river, towards something that will outlast empires. And here's the surprise nobody tells you. The people building Egypt's great monuments are not slaves. They're paid workers, farmers in the off-season, and skilled crews who do this full-time and take real pride in it. They keep records. They even go on strike when the bread rations run late. The very first recorded labor strike in human history happened right here. To move a single block weighing several tons, a crew drags it on a wooden sledge, while one man pours water onto the sand just ahead of the runners. Wet sand cuts the drag almost in half. It isn't magic, it isn't aliens, it's physics, worked out by hand 3,000 years ago. And this is where you finally see the real Egypt, the one the museums lost. These temple walls are not the bare, honey-colored stone you've seen in the photographs. As they're carved, they're being painted in blazing blues, greens, reds, and gold. Every column, every god, every symbol on fire with color. A finished temple looks less like a ruin and more like a jewel box turned inside out. But step out of that blinding sun into the shade, and you meet the most powerful man in Egypt who isn't a king. The scribe. He can write. And in a world where almost no one can, that single skill makes him untouchable. Free from hauling stone, free from breaking his back in the fields. He writes in two inks, black from soot for the body of the text, and red for the headings and the dangerous words. That, by the way, is where we get the phrase, a red letter day. But everything he records rests on one single idea. Ma'at. Truth. Balance. Order. Ma'at is why the river floods, why the king rules, why you don't cheat your neighbor. And every Egyptian, from this scribe to that farmer at dawn, believes that he is personally helping to hold the sky in place. So what happens if it falls? Stay with me because the sun is dropping now, and the answer is waiting in the dark. As the light fades, everyone you've met turns toward home and starts preparing for the one thing this entire day has been building toward. Inside a small flat-roofed house, cool, its walls painted with vines and protective signs, a family gathers. Dinner is bread, onions, fish straight from the Nile, and beer, eaten with their hands on reed mats. Now look at the little clay figures by the wall. Not the great gods of the temples, these are the household gods. Bes, a cheerful little dwarf god who guards the home, sleep, and childbirth, and Taweret, a hippo goddess who protects mothers. Ordinary Egyptians don't pray much to the distant cosmic gods. They pray to these two every single day for the small things that keep a family alive. And then, once the children are asleep and the lamp burns low, you finally meet the obsession at the very center of it all. Here it is. The one thing the Egyptians spent their entire lives preparing for. Not death, life after it. To an Egyptian, this life is short, and the next one is forever. So everything, the grain stored away, the tombs cut deep into the cliffs, the spells written onto papyrus, all of it is preparation for a single journey through the underworld. And at the very end of that journey stands a scale. On one side, your heart. On the other, a single feather. The feather of Ma'at, truth itself. And if your heart is heavier than that feather, weighed down by the wrong you've done, a creature is waiting to devour it. Part crocodile, part lion, part hippo, and you simply cease to exist. No paradise, no punishment, just erasure. That is the real fear that shaped every ordinary hour you just watched. So the farmer, the baker, the scribe, the mason, when they tried to live by Ma'at, to be honest, to keep the order, they weren't just being good neighbors. They were fighting to keep their hearts light enough to live forever. And above them, the same stars you're looking at right now turn slowly across the sky. The river will flood again. The cycle will turn. And tomorrow, at first light, a farmer will walk back onto the black fields, and all of it begins again. One ordinary day on the Nile, held together by one extraordinary idea. Live in balance, or be erased. So tell me, if you could live a single day in this Egypt, would you choose the farmer's life, the scribes, or the builders? Tell me in the comments. And if 1250 BC felt real to you, then step into the next lost world right here. Travel with us.